I may be buffering. If I'm buffering, I'm buffering. Apologize in advance. You guys cannot even imagine how busy we are. It's for the better. And I also cannot feel more optimistic about Ghost because some insights are opening up and it's just miraculous. It's difficult for some of you guys to see those little nuances here and there, those of you who have been with us for quite some time now. But if you dive deeper, you will be able to see that those little nuances and little details really adding up um, so much to the final destination, final product. So let me see if anybody can hear me. I also want to see how many people are listening to us. I need to start checking, by the way, how many people are even watching lately. Because there have been some holidays here and there. So that's quite interesting. All right. You're live. You're live. Let's see if you're live. Let's see if I can hear it. Okay. Perfect. All right. As you know, the documentation as far as description has been pretty sporadic and very rare, very scarce. Talking about scarcity, no pun intended. Other projects have similar situation. Of course, some bigger projects like Polkadot, etc., have pretty stellar documentation. Mr. Adiki, good morning. Thank you. Projects like Polkadot have pretty decent documentation. But then you'll be surprised because, like, say, Ethereum already does not have such good documentation anymore. And those of you who are trying to run RPC endpoints, well, you can attest, right? To we tried to run an RPC endpoint last week for Ethereum for Sepolia, and I think you require 200 plus gigabytes of storage for it. Pruning may not be an option. And they recently came out with Fusaka upgrade, if I pronounce it correctly. So maybe some of those minimum requirements will be downgraded. However, we're running into the point where there's a reason why we don't see much adoption, and we can say that in of Web3, and we can say, oh, like, retail. Well, I mean, listen, nobody knows the answer. I'm personally saying that most of the time it's just retailers not there because they have been screwed so badly by the institutionals, and the institutionals, trying to load up, and of course, like, it's always the middle class holding the bag, always, not even the poor. It's the middle class holding the bag. It used to be the poor, no longer the case. And kind of that's what we're thinking. It's just kind of Bitcoin being taken over by BlackRock, and there's no real activity. They're pumping. VCs taking over the Web3 revolution. There's switch towards AI to make sure that the stock market doesn't drop as one of the last hopes for the stock market holding up. And that's why Web3 is not there. But the more you study Web3 in depth, the more you realize there is a reason why there's no adoption, because nobody's really, like, very few projects actually trying to do something, right? Like, I had a conversation with one of the whales last night, and he showed me something interesting. He said, listen, um, like, we have centralized exchanges and stuff, but the only more or less pure Web3 play right now is peer-to-peer. He showed me Binance or P2P, the design, etc. We've been kind of looking towards our bridge, which I'm going to be demonstrating later today. So it's going to be interesting. It's not finished, but it's a lot of upgrades. And he's like, everything else is like really just puff. And then we looked at some countries, and some countries on Binance with P2P have, like, some of the largest countries, some of the largest crypto countries in the world have like 13 providers, of buying and selling Bitcoin. It's crazy today. It's crazy. Like literally 13, not 13,000, 13. And it's like one of the largest countries as far as crypto volume. It's quite crazy. So there's a reason, as it turns out, why we don't see that much adoption. Some of that is suffocation by enterprises, but some of that is just desire for Web3 projects to stick to VC kind of route, and that's their problem. We should not be following their lead. And projects like Uniswap V2 and projects like Ethereum Classic and projects like Gnosis will probably see their day very soon, as governments are trying to massively go after our freedoms, as they're trying to divide and conquer the global markets earlier controlled solely by one player of the United States of America. So we've seen what we've seen. That's a transitionary period. That period may last for a decade, for 2 decades. It's a long process. We'll see lots of disappointments. In France right now, from those of you who don't know, in France, European Union, if you are gifting a gift for more than $1,000, you have to. I think it's not that you have to report it. It's illegal in cash. It's illegal. So then some people say, well, if I go to a nice restaurant in France and pay up to $1,000, like come on, and that's European Union. So other countries very similar. So yeah. Now the reason why the documentation for us, that's where we took the segue. So Polkadot's documentation pretty nice. Ethereum not very good. Lots of you guys witnessed it. Now the reason why Ghost doesn't have good documentation, because things change like literally every single freaking day. And if you're going to write documentation, we'll have to hire like a technical writer who will have to consistently be on the lookout, and it is just it's a problem creating more problems. So we shall be very careful, and we've been very careful with publishing the documentation. So for example, for ERC 721 Envious, once the smart contracts have been live and deployed, only then did we proceed to writing pretty extensive documentation on everything, on the standard, on the applications, implementations, etc. So you guys can familiarize yourselves with that. GhostDAO, same thing. Once we launched it, GhostDAO 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago was that. We published the light paper after the launch, and now the light paper might potentially be a little bit outdated since we're using the backing of the stablecoin, right? So things change. So we do apologize for those gaps in knowledge. However, the idea is to create this core group of whales who are level 1, level 2, as we discussed, who are tracing stuff and are able to comment and help other peers in the Whales group and also in the respective networks get up to speed. And as we are finalizing certain features, we will try to not immediately, but very very rapidly publish this stuff. So what I would like to present to you today is finally information on slashing. Lots of you guys have been asking for it, and trust me, like, it's mutual. It's not that we've been hiding something on purpose, like, trying to hide knowledge. It's just stuff is really kind of been finalizing. And this stuff, this version, I would say is probably 75% accurate. It's 100% accurate as of today. But as of tomorrow, it may be 75% accurate. So things change that much. It's not that we're changing 2%, like it's massive changes. For example, Casper 5.0 significantly impacted slashing on the side of the bridge. So let's go through some of those things just to give you guys more ideas on where we stand. This is not an article. This is just internal doc. Okay, so slashing. So first of all, we have multiple palettes, multiple modules, as Ghost is containerized, very similar to Polkadot. Lots of inspiration taken from it, lots of formulas taken from it. So we're not being very creative on some of those on purpose, because why shall we if the top minds led by Gavin Wood already figured it out. So first things first, Grandpa. Grandpa is the finality gadget, right? So Grandpa is the I should really start with Babe, but let me just start in this order. So Grandpa is the finality gadget, right? So once the validators propose the block, Grandpa is responsible for finalizing that specific block. So when you guys are observing your Ghost Eye, typically you're 2-3 blocks delayed, right? So I'm not sure if you see that some blocks are yellow, those are finalized. Some blocks are white, those are not finalized. And typically there's 2 to 3 block delay. Each block is about 6 to 8 seconds, so we are at most 3 times 8 seconds, 24 seconds delayed until deterministic finalization. Now, GrandPy is responsible for that. So now, what can GrandPy issue any slashing? Yes, the answer is yes. So if it's called equivocation slash, so the validator signs 2 or more votes for that specific finalization of the block in the same round, and those 2 blocks are conflicting with what Ghost finalized state is portraying. So for example, Mr. IDK, use you as an example. Let's assume you're the attacker. So we have 22 validators today. So 21 validators say, well, it has been transaction X. And you say, no, it has been transaction X. And it has been transaction Y. So you send in 2 separate votes in that specific block time. And at the same time, everybody says it's transaction X, but you say, no, I would like to finalize transaction Y. Now, the thing is, in Bitcoin, since it's a probabilistic type of thing, there's going to be no slashing except for you paying electricity. So if you say it's going to be Y, transaction Y as opposed to transaction X, everybody will just ignore you. The consensus will simply ignore you, and all you will lose is the electricity. Now, for us, for the proof of stake, you have to be slashed. So if you're suggesting the finalization of block of transaction Y as opposed to transaction X, you will be slashed based on this formula. So this formula is, it's a minimum of 3 times the number of offenders divided by the total nodes squared or 1. So essentially, it's the minimum of that. So as you can see, the maximum is going to be 100%. So it's never going to be more than 100% of the slash. It's impossible because we're taking the minimum of those 2. Now, I need to draw, we need to draw a function, kind of coming with this chart. But essentially, let's assume we have 100 nodes, right? And we have 1 offender. So it's going to be 3 divided by 10. That's going to be whatever. And then we square that. So it's going to be about 9%, if I'm not, actually even less. 1 offender, so it's 3 out of 100. Sorry, so 3 out of 100, then we square that. So it's going to be 0.09%. 0.09% of the stake will be slashed. So pretty much nothing if it's just 1 offender. But the more offenders there are during that specific era, because you get slashed over the course of the era, the more the slashing increases. So let's assume now instead of 1 out of 100 validators now offenders, so 1 offender out of 100. Instead of that, we have 10 offenders out of 100 nodes. So in that case, it's going to be 3 times 10 over 100. So it's going to be 3 tenths squared. That's going to be 9%. So just to give you an idea, so if it's 1% attacker, then it's 0.09% slash. If it's 10% attacker, then it's a 9% slash. So it's a pretty exponential type of increase. So that's that. Okay. Now, how many of us are subject to this? Unless you are purposefully trying to mess with the finality, you will not be slashed. So if you're just running a node, level 3, level 4, and most level 2s, right? We're just running nodes. We're not going to mess with the code. We're just trying to launch it. We will never ever get that slash. It's not that the probability of this is 0.01. The probability of that is 0%. So shouldn't worry about this. This is more for attackers who are consciously trying to attack the network on the finality side of things. All right. Now, BAPE. BAPE is another, so you guys can see GrandPy and BAPE, right? Like it's called Grand and BAPE as your keys, right? When you rotate keys, for example, or create keys. So BAPE is another module responsible for block production. So now here we have 2 types of offenses. So the first one is equivocation slash as well, right? So a validator produces 2 or more different blocks in the same time slot. So you say, so Mr. IDK, sorry for picking on you, you say, hey, listen, I think there's block 1 and at the same time block 2. When you are not finalizing the block, but when you're producing the block to everybody else. So let's take a step back. Let's assume there are 100 validators. Mr. IDK, you selected as a proposer of the block. So you propose the block, but you say, no. There's not 1 block. There are actually 2 blocks, block X and block Y at the same time. Well, that's equivocation slash, and you're going to be slashed based on this. Now, the number of offenders is calculated over the course of the era. So Mr. IDK, for example, you decided to attack the network once, and then I decided to attack the network later on, at any point of time during the same era, meaning during the same day. So in that case, we have 2 offenders now. Right now, let's assume who else is listening to us. If you guys saw person number 3 decides to attack the network as well, now that's 3 offenders, right? So that's how it grows. So the offenders is not how many offenses we make, but it's more like how many offenders are trying to attack the network during that specific era. Then, of course, that number of offenders gets nullified when the next era begins, and so on and so forth. So very similar formula, not very similar, exactly the same formula here and here. Okay. Now that's a pretty aggressive formula, to be honest, and the chart will be presented. But yeah, if 10% of the network are attacking, they will be losing 9% of their stake each. Now another attack vector is by being offline, by being inactive, right? So what is the definition of being inactive? So if you are producing 0 blocks, 0 points, right, over the course of the era, and you're not being disabled, you're being active, but you're producing 0 points, meaning you're actually being like offline, so nobody disabled you, you're just not producing stuff, you will be slashed, right? And the slash is the same formula, right? So you can be slashed for being offline, essentially, and you can be slashed for, let's call it double spend, right? So double spend, equivocation slash on the Bape side of things and on the Grandpa side of things. Now, as an honest validator, doing everything fine, can you ever be slashed here by accident? Answer is no, you won't be ever able to be slashed for equivocation slash unless you are consciously, purposely trying to attack the network. So if you're just running the nodes and you make some mistakes here and there, you will not ever be subject to this slash. Okay? Now, can you be subject to slash for the offline? Yes, 100%. And that's what most of our validators are. Most of our validators are offline for some time. Yes, if that happens, you will be absolutely slashed. Now, what are the protection mechanisms? Well, you just need to make sure that you are online every single epoch. See how offline for the entire epoch. So you cannot be offline for the entire era. That's definitely not an option. You can only be offline for one epoch after which you're disabled. So if you are offline for 4 hours, meaning produce 0 points, absolutely 0 points in that specific epoch, you will get slashed. Now, it's very difficult for you to be offline for the entire epoch unless your internet and electricity, whatever, literally came out for the entire 4-hour time frame. If you are offline for, say, 3 hours, 3.5 hours, and whatever, there is a huge chance you will not be slashed. Like, if you're online for even just 10 minutes in that specific epoch, you may probably not get slashed. Because in that time frame, there's a huge chance that you'll be selected to produce a block, therefore you'll earn points. And if you earn at least 1 point, you're not slashed. Now, you cannot earn 1 point. You probably the minimum of points to be earned is 20. That's how much you get for producing a block. Why 20? Well, Polkadot decided we just kept it as legacy. We didn't kind of mess with it. So the minimum you can get is 20 points. If you get at least 20 points, you will not be slashed. Okay. So the function is exactly the same, right? So we just need to draw something like that, which we will do to visualize it for you guys and for us, for everybody. And good morning. I believe that's Scorpion. All right. So those 2 slashes are more or less okay. If you skip something, just rewatch from scratch. Okay. Now, not a problem with those slashes. So those slashes worked fine. The consensus here worked fine. We just described our basic Polkadot functions. By the way, Polkadot most likely changed some of that already, but we use the legacy. Now, they changed that just to be creative because it's Polkadot. Polkadot is famous after the launch to spend $130 million of funds for some crazy shit, including private jets and stuff. It was like a huge conflict and a huge press media situation happening there. So after Gavin has been more or less disassociated with the project, of course the project kind of went down the drain a little bit. But now I think they're coming, doing something cool. And before, when they launched, they did something extremely amazing and fancy. And we're just taking the legacy stuff. We're just taking the best stuff. Okay. So no creativity here, really, right? Like we're just taking stuff. Okay. We unfortunately, and I really mean that, unfortunately, have to be creative. Like it's a lot easier to take existing modules and just connect them together, right? Or like a Lego pieces and just kind of assemble them together in a creative way, and that would be nice. Unfortunately, we cannot do that. We have to be creative, and again, that's unfortunate because that comes with lots of experiments, lots of R&D, lots of sleepless nights. You guys also helping us test it, right? So it's all of us together doing this, right? So we have to be proud of this, and those of you guys who help us break it and help us test it, thank you so much. Miss IDK, Scorpion in particular, you guys obviously, and not just you, right? We have a bunch of other whales who help us with that. So thank you very much. That's really important. But it's again unfortunate, right? Because shit happens, stuff breaks, and we have to fucking fix it. Okay. So let's go over the slow collapse slashing. Okay, that stuff changed. It changed in Casper 5.0 already, and it changed even more. So there's going to be another forkless upgrade coming up, probably like by Wednesday, maybe even this Sunday, because we're realizing some things. So let's look at that. I'll try to do my best explaining it. If I'm not clear, please ask questions. Although we'll try to publish articles on this topic in more granular detail. So, every single validator must contribute a block, a slow clap commitment. So that is going to be, they have to commit two things. The final Sipoli Ethereum block that they see, and the Unix timestamp. Now, Unix timestamp has to happen every 10 minutes, right? So they're publishing, every single validator publishes that they're online, that they're active. Why every 10 minutes? Why not faster or slower? Well, because we just don't want to extend the ledger. We want to keep the ledger pretty small. Now, why wouldn't we do this every single hour? Why 10 minutes? Well, because we want to make sure that we're optimizing for the user. So the realization that I had and the team had was, and even yesterday when we were developing the designs, we had a lot of insights, is validators are super important, but not as important as the user. And I know it's such a logical, such a straightforward, such a basic freaking DAO moment, but we needed that moment after we as a community fucked up Casper 4.0 on the validator side. Because, again, validator screwed up, chain got screwed, whatever. But who got screwed the most? The users. And that's how you fail in anything. If you screw the user cannot be screwed. So in this case, who is more important? Validator or user? User. How much more important? 100,000 fucking times more important. So therefore, it has to be a nice balance of publishing the Unix timestamp federal. Good morning, Unix timestamp. But every 5 would be ideal every second. But given the topology of the network, meaning given the dislocation, allocation, therefore alignment of all the nodes over the globe, with different electricity setups and internet setups, we cannot really make it smaller than 8 seconds. We should probably not make it lower than 1 minute because things can happen. There's a signal loss, etc. But 10 minutes is enough. So what has to happen in those 10 minutes? So let's assume I'm not sending the signal in the 10 minutes, and my peer is Scorpion. So using the Gossip protocol, which is the foundation of any blockchain, whether it's Bitcoin or anything else, using the Gossip protocol, Scorpion is like, this guy, this node, is not online. He didn't send anything over the last 10 minutes. Alarm. So he sends the alarm. Scorpion sends the alarm to his peers. All the peers of Scorpion start checking me, my node. And if I'm really online, what happens to me? I get disabled immediately. So it's a pretty draconian measure. So meaning the node really has to be online every freaking 10 minutes. So if you're not online for more than 10 minutes, you are disabled. Now, how does this play along with here, right? Like kind of the BAPE slashing. Because the BAPE slashing said, hey, listen, you can just produce one block over the course of 4 hours and you're fine. Yep. This one is very light. The BAPE one is very light. Polkadot's, therefore, is very light compared to the slow clap. Slow clap is fucking draconian. So now, which one is more important? BAPE or slow clap? Well, the answer is whoever gets the slash first gets slashed first. Meaning, if slow clap sees that my node needs to be slashed, I'll get slashed by the slow clap. If the slow clap does not see that I need to be slashed, and BAPE sees that I need to get slashed, then BAPE will slash me. Now, don't they contradict each other? Because it seems like if I'm not online for 10 minutes, I'm definitely not producing any blocks. Meaning, like every 10 minutes I must be online. So 10 minutes is way shorter than 4 hours. And if you are seeing this contradiction, you are absolutely tracing everything I'm saying. Yes, you're correct. Meaning that it's going to be virtually. So let's go back through this, like, through the grandpa and babe slashing. You'll get slashed on the equivocation slash if you're purposely an attacker. You'll get slashed on the equivocation slash on babe if you're purposely an attacker. Now, let's assume you're not purposely an attacker. You're just an honest dude trying to run a node. Well, in most cases, you'll just be slashed for this one. But guess what? With slow clap, you're not even going to get slashed with that. Because if you are online for 4 hours, you will definitely get slashed by the slow clap slash before you get slashed by the babe slash for inactivity. So what we're trying to say is, while these are nice to see, nice to have, and they are there, chances are, if you're an honest guy or girl, you will not, as a node validator, you will not be slashed on these ones ever. Ever. Chances are. Chances are you will get slashed by the slow claps. So then the question is, why have them? Well, we have them because, double spend needs to be there. Equivocation slashes definitely need to be there for sure, because those are like absolute attacks on the network. As far as this one, inactivity, well, whatever. Nice to have both, right? So we have both. So going back here. So you must be online every 10 minutes. If you're not online, Scorpion, if I'm not online, Scorpion sees I'm not online, alarm, he sends that message to all his peers, then those peers send the message to their peers. So all the peers check if I'm online or not. And if I'm not online, if the majority of validators, based on the gossip protocol, say that I'm not online, I'm disabled. I'm disabled with the consequence slash. And here's the formula for the slash that the team developed. Now, this formula looks a lot more complicated. It's one of the legacy formulas from Polkadot. This one is a lot lighter than these ones. A lot lighter. So again, I need to draw a graph for you guys to show this one is definitely lighter. In this formula, 10% or more validators really must be online for the slash to take effect. Now, some of you guys have been slashed for being disabled. So stuff is still in test mode. So please bear with us. But just to again put everything in perspective, if the number of offenders is less than 10% of the entire validator set, those offenders will not get slashed. Okay. So that's the situation. Now, you must be sending again automatically, and that's all in the setup. The Unix timestamp of how you active or not. And you also need to be sending your Sepolia ETH block every 10 minutes. And then something happens. If your Sepolia ETH block is 6 hours ahead or 6 hours below the consensus Sepolia ETH block, you will be disabled and slashed as well. So there are two criteria, two options, either or both. Either or both, that will lead you to get an inactivity slash on the slow clap slashing. You either have to be not reported within 10 minutes, your node, or your Sepolia block is 6 hours behind or 6 hours ahead of the consensus Sepolia ETH block. Now, the complexity sounds very easy. Oh, okay. Question is, how can we get that consensus? Who is the right, power to determine the consensus? So lots of those bullshit bridges, they're just using oracles. So Chainlink will tell us, or Coinbase will tell us what the right block is, and we just trust that. Of course, the attack vector is that Coinbase itself decides to lie, or Chainlink themselves decides to lie, and you screwed. So for us, we had to develop this design. And the design looks like this, and it's still in process and it's not fully implemented, but the average, the consensus value of the current Sepolia block is the weighted median, weighted by the stakes of Casper, of Ghost, of every single node. So therefore, essentially, we cannot take the average, unfortunately, because the average can be weighted significantly higher or lower. So I can be an attacker and just send a huge, like super low or super high Sepolia ETH block, and even with very low weight, I can significantly impact the average. So we cannot take the average. We have to go with the median, and the median must be weighted. So currently the median is not weighted, but the progress upgrade that will take place hopefully this weekend / Wednesday will be weighted median. So therefore we are going for the majority stake. So think about that. The majority stake of Casper must say what the current SEP ETH block is, but that's not it. The second check that is also being added, it's not there yet, it's not there today, but it will be added to Forkless Abrogate, is also not just the majority stake, but also the majority of nodes must also say that the SEP ETH block is within the limit. In that case, everything is going to be fine. Okay, so those are the two if statements that both must be sufficed in order for the SEP ETH consensus block to be identified. And then we add plus or minus 6 hours. And those validators who are not within that range of plus or minus 6 hours are disabled and slashed. Okay? Equally, the validators who are not within plus or minus 1 hour on the timestamp also get slashed. So you must be active, meaning you must be sending some stuff every 10 minutes, but you might be up or down 1 hour from the median unique timestamp. So that's how it works. So if you're not within those, you are slashed. If you're within those, you're good to go. Okay, and the formula again is a lot lighter, so you won't be slashed that much for being offline. Although we probably should change it at some point in time. Okay. There's one more offense called applause offense. Let me respond to the question. There's a question. Scorpion, I think, is asking, will validators that have been slashed have the reason given to them that they were slashed to be able to rectify their errors before revalidating? No, they're getting slashed, and they will get slashed until they lose stake. So while it sounds like, oh, they can just get slashed forever, that's a great question. I got slashed by about 3%, and I really didn't freaking like it. So this time I took a way more active role in my validating. I'm checking my validator, 10 times a day. And I don't like to get slashed by 3%. Like, I really don't. So I removed my stake. I had 69 Casper. I removed it to 6.9. Well, a little bit more than that, 7.5. I'm adding like half to 1 Casper every single time I'm getting slashed. I really don't like it. And imagine that's real money. Like, you actually getting slashed. And imagine Casper right now is how much? So I got like 3 Casper on my slash. Casper right now is $8,000. So I just got slashed like 24 grand. I probably don't want to. I probably don't want to go back without changing. Without like, meaning you guys as other validators probably don't have to tell me what to change. Like I'm a big boy. I can figure out myself. Why? Because I just got slashed by $24,000. You know what I mean? So it's like, with test money, dumb money, it's all shit and giggles. Like we just get lost. But when it's real money, when each of us loses a fucking dollar of our real money, we start taking stuff seriously. And the reason for these draconian measures, like, I really, it's hard to tell some of you guys. I mean, okay, I'm reading some of your minds. Not those maybe who are on this call, maybe actually some of this who are on this call right now. That, oh, Casper 5.0 had to be changed because there was a bug. There was no bugs. Okay, there were some bugs for sure. We fixed those. The reason why we had to change was due to the fact that validators just didn't take it seriously. We were under impression that validators would be so much incentivized by the game theory to be active because they're so much incentivized to get the right bridging fees that they will be watching the RPC endpoints, not going to be behind, etc. But nobody gave a shit. So this time we are coupling the game theory aspect of like, oh, it makes sense for me to really watch my stuff because I need to earn bridging fees, right? And if I don't earn bridging fees, bridges will not come to me. So I'm incentivized to be a good validator with like pretty freaking draconian measures. All right. So, but in reality, I think the first design was great. It's just that it was not draconian. What I'm trying to say is, yeah. Once it comes down to real money, you will start just watching over your nodes yourself. Mr. DK, if you fall out of sync, how do we fix reset our nodes? Great question. There is instruction how to do this. It's going to be part of the, I think it's already part of the guide. But essentially you can, I think it's called Shift P. You go to the validated node, a validated tab, and you do Shift P. So if you synced out of your RPC, you can bump your RPC latest block manually. if you're significantly behind. Now, chances are, though, you should not be doing this during the session because you may lose some of the bridging fees. And if you do lose some of the bridging fees, then you'll get slashed as well. So don't do that during the session. But so essentially, you're probably going to be disabled first. Then to sync up after you've been disabled and slashed, you will do this shift P, I think it's called. You'll bump it up, and then you're going to be revalidating again. So now let me ask a separate question. If I'm out of sync, can I do something for not being slashed? Chances are no. Chances are if you're out of sync, you will be disabled and slashed. This is it's going to be most likely the case. Okay. Now, what's going to be in this guide as well, in the slashing guide, is where do those slashing amounts go towards? They go towards the treasury. Who controls the treasury? Ghost Cult. Ghost Cult is comprised of whom? Well, council is representing significant weight, but also validators and whales and everybody. So a couple of things could be done with the slashing quantity. First of all, that could be just allocated towards treasury for further development. B could be redistributed back to validators as a sub-ratio. At some point in time, it seems like Polkadot would direct 20% of those slashing rewards back to the validators and 80% of those rewards to the treasury. But you can also appeal, and you can appeal in public sources, right? So you appeal and say, hey, I'm sorry, guys, like I was offline, please give me my stuff back. And then the treasury may decide to vote for it. Not only that, but let's assume you are slashed, like you know that you're going to be slashed, like you're already disabled, and you have like, I don't know, some time to appeal. You know for sure you got slashed. You are, hey guys, I'm sorry, I screwed up. The Ghost Cult may vote to remove your offense, and you will not even be slashed in the first place. So there are two options, right? Three options. You slashed and that's it. Second option is you have an offense, you're not slashed yet, and you negotiated with the Ghost Cult to vote against you having an offense in the first place, in which case the offense is dropped and you're not slashed. And third option is you slashed, and then you go back to the Ghost Cult, and Ghost Cult maybe will refund you. Right? So like those options are possible. So again, that's not like, kind of you slash and that's it. So options are possible. They are not very probable, meaning like it's not 100%. You need to make the entire Ghost Cult vote for your situation, which is like pretty fucking insane, right? Like because they have to spend their gas fees and they have to review a proposal and you have to gather their attention, and practically it's extremely fucking complicated, but it's possible. Okay, so so there are goods and bads. So final slashing scenario is, let's assume there have been 10 bridging transactions and I only clapped for 9 of them. Okay, so whatever I skipped, I will slash for every single bridging transaction that I skipped that I did not clap for. Okay, and that's going to be this formula here. So we also need to draw a chart on that. So lots of information. Which is very convoluted and complicated. The best advice I can give you is read on Polkadot slashing and Kusama slashing. It's spelled as K-U-S as Sam, A as an apple, M as Michael, A as an apple. So K-U-S as Sam, A as an apple, M as Michael, A as an apple. So read both Kusama and Polkadot's documentation for slashing. Kusama has the most legacy code base still, it seems like. So read those if you would like to learn more about those slashing things, and we'll be publishing it soon, either as a separate guide or part of the existing guide for slashing. We're also going to be working on the rewards guide, so let me not share it with you guys yet. We'll probably do it next week. And today instead, let's go towards the design of the bridge. So please shoot questions if you have any questions. How many people watching us right now? Oh, we have 6 people. Okay, good, not bad. Okay. Okay, so this is the preliminary version. It's not available for you guys. You don't see it yet. Oh shoot. Okay. It's a white screen. Oops. How about now? Okay. Bridge. Yes. Alright, so not available to you guys, and this is not the final version yet. I just wanted to show you where our head's at right now. So some of the stuff is loading. And we went through 2 or 3 changes already. We're going to be sitting down with the team and some whales later today, finishing up the design, and hopefully it will be coded, sometime next week, and you guys will have it. So some of the realizations that happening to us is it's between making it as simple as possible and making it as transparent as possible. Would love to hear your thoughts. That's the biggest dilemma right now, right? That's the biggest dichotomy. Should we make it easy for everybody because everybody's whining how everything should be easy? Or should we make it transparent and detailed? And there are arguments for both. Would love to hear your view and your opinions in the chat if you guys could write something. Or in Wales, better in Wales actually, whatever, both. Do both, right? If you choose to. So should we make it UX friendly, user experience very easy, and idiot can a 5-year-old can fucking understand it? Or should we make it like, actually, I don't care about 5-year-old. I want to really transfer my fucking money. So I don't need your 5-year-old bullshit. Give me transparency. So we thought under for a very long time, still thinking, well, first of all, it has to be a balance. It cannot be either or. It has to be like kind of a balance of the two of them. But we're more tending, long story short, we're tending more towards screw the 5-year-old, screw your grandma with all due respect. We don't need your fucking grandma to understand this. We don't need your grandson to understand this, or child, kid, right? We want to make sure that this shit brings a lot of trust. And I'll tell you why. So there are some competitors here, for example, this one, right? So Debridge, some of them we showed in Symbiosis. We're going to share both of them. So and you guys tell me, right? So if you're going for like very fast UX, that's because I use both of these to actually on Cosmos yesterday. He's switching his mind. It seems like so. This is 1,000 Circle on Ethereum for whatever 997 Tether on Tron. The question that all of us need to ask ourselves is this. So I see ETA 3 seconds. I see some points. Like that's actually some cool stuff that you can take from here, right? Like, and maybe we shall, right? Like, the more transactions you make, maybe you get more points, maybe some whatever discounts, whatever. Some cool ideas. ETA, we even took this word. Now you can insert this Tron. So there are some cool ideas we could take as far as user experience. But let me tell you this. And then it's like, oh, like refresh by actually just seeing it now. Like you see how it's like, oh, it's like it's dropping. Now it's going to refresh by itself, all the prices. Question is this. If I need to bridge $1 million, will I do this through this bridge? Ask yourself this question. Because if you don't have $1 million, this bridge is fucking useless to me. That was my realization. I just don't trust it. It's like, what the fuck is this? Like, what is this? It's so fucking weird. Who are these validators? Whom am I trusting? And it's not about me being paranoid. It's like, imagine you have $1 million, which is like a big sum. What would you do? Forget about like, are you believing in Web 2.5? Do you like, MicroStrategy or BlackRock? Forget about this. Are you gonna risk $1 million to this user interface? It's so fucking easy. Are you gonna risk it? And that's a question because I, frankly speaking, have no clue who are these validators. Because it's a cross-chain bridge here, right? It's from Circle on Ethereum to Tether on Tron. And I caught myself that if I had $1 million to be bridged, I would probably have to be splitting it into $1,000 transactions or $500 transactions. 10,000 transactions I would not trust. I would probably have to do 1,000 transactions. So this bridge is fucking useless to me. Right? Like if I have like $10, maybe I'll transfer it. Here's a kicker though. If I'm transferring $10, I have to pay $8 fee. So here's like, I'm paying what, $3, right? Total fee on the conversion plus on top of it, like $8. So if I change this to $10,000, it's becoming all of a sudden more economic, right? Because I'm paying the same $8. But if I'm transferring $100, I'm paying $8 fee, fixed fee per transaction, plus like another 25 cents. It's actually quite expensive. Now, what if I have $10 to bridge? I still have to pay the same $8, right? Whatever. I'm not judging the design. All I'm saying is, I have zero trust with this bridge, right? And I'll probably have to make lots of smaller transactions, which will cost me a lot more because of the transaction fees, and also a lot more time. Now, this one is equally Symbiosis. I think we shared that at some point in time. It's equally untrustworthy. So, easy UX, right? So it's the same. Circle on Ethereum to Tether on Tron. One element we're going to take from is root, because we always wanted to do root anyway, so we're going to take it most likely this time. So that's a cool element, right? But overall, like, again, if I have $1 million, like, I'm not sure if I'm going to be even, well, first of all, there's no liquidity, right? I don't think there is liquidity for that amount, so I can't even transfer it. Talking about, maybe there is, maybe we'll have to wait some time, I don't know. Maybe I have to refresh it, let's see. But you got the point, right? So, talking about how amazing those bridges are, okay, what if I do 100 grand? Okay, you see, so there's no liquidity for $1 million. So 100 grand, it's fine, right? So I can do 10 transactions, so it's still better, potentially. I mean, the cost is somewhat, right? So I have to pay $300 per transaction. Okay, maybe it's fine, right? But who is validating these transactions? I have no fucking idea. I really don't. Like, okay, it's easy. Who are the validators? Because it's cross-chain stuff. Who is moving my funds from one Excel spreadsheet to another? Long story short, I'm not going to do it. Like, if I have $1 million, I would go with $1,000 per trade. That's what I would do. And given the fact that here the fees are $7 per trade, I would just do that instead of this one. Maybe I'll combine both of those. But first of all, like, if I have 1,000 transactions, it's going to cost me $8,000. So to move $1 million, maybe it's fine. But then the question is, $8,000, can I just go through Binance? I don't know, because like at this point in time, like kind of the trust level is the same, but $8,000 okay, if I transfer $1 million once, $8 grand, maybe it's okay, right? What if I transfer $1 million every time? What if I'm trading, right? Like every week? What, I have to pay $8,000 every week? That's 50 weeks a year. That's $500,000. So my trading fees are insane. So what am I really winning from those bridges, right? So that's a question. And what am I gaining as far as trust? So the more I was thinking about this, the more I'm like, yeah, fuck this UX. Like all this UX, like they tell us in books, like user experiences. I don't fucking need user experience. I need to make sure that this bridge is not gonna fuck me. That's what I need. I need to make sure that if I transfer something, I can trust it. So this second window here is we're going to be upgrading those things, right? So it's not the final version. But let me just walk you through some of those things and some of the bugs that we're observing right now. So first of all, the validators, right? So this is the list of validators. Like, of course, we don't have the tooltips yet, but so the list of validators, right? So far, it seems like it's 22, of which 7 are disabled, so which matches the ghost eye. 7 are disabled for most likely being offline, either due to timestamp or block height. Now, this is when they were active. So this one was 1 minute active, 1 minute ago active, 1 minute ago active. What does it mean? It means that, like, this node here submitted a Unix timestamp block commitment 50 seconds ago. So boom, that's how this works. And then we have last updated 37 seconds ago. So one of these nodes got updated like 30. So this becomes a pretty addictive thing, which is kind of what we want. Now the block height is those are the block heights. Now we have this delay. So delay, we'll rename this to block delay. So what's delay? So the actual timestamp of the block height is in my MetaMask as a user. So this here is green if the difference between what I see in my MetaMask as a user and what this validator portrays is within 4 hours, which is about 1,100 blocks. So if this validator is not 4 hours behind what I see, it's going to be green. If it's more than 4 hours below me, behind me, it's going to be red. Again, I don't care what the consensus is, because the consensus on the block height is extremely difficult to establish because it's not deterministic. It's very the problem with solving is very complicated on the bridge end. Although it's the easiest problem that we have. Bridge out is even more complex. But I don't care as a user. All I want to make sure is, like, even if you guys agree on the block, which is so much behind what I see, I want this to be red. So for this one, it's red because it's 0. For this one, it's red because it's 0. For these two, it's red because 2 validators, who I'm not sure who they are, but they are so much fucking behind. They're 52,000 blocks. They're attackers, clearly attackers on the network. I'm trying to find who they are. I sent 2 messages in Wales, not sure who they are. So one was disabled So this status is disabled. So one is behind, more than 4 hours behind, and is disabled. And this one, more than 4 hours behind as well, and is not disabled. So we need to look into this. Why this fucking node is not disabled? Should be disabled already. Disabled within 10 minutes. And now my estimated execution time is, you see how many minutes? Why? Why so many minutes? Because somebody here is essentially like currently syncing as of 2016, year 2016. So we essentially take the lowest of those active validators, and this guy is still active for whatever reason. So we take that and we put this in minutes. So obviously right now the bridge is unusable. As a user, I would not be bridged. Now, is it good or bad? The best thing is to protect the user, even if this is not what we want. And we only have bridge stability metric of 63% because only 63% of weight of stake right now is not disabled. So 37% of stake is disabled for whatever reason. 63 is not disabled. I, as a user, want to see that this bridge sucks right now, and I don't want to bridge to Ghost. If I want to bridge ASAP, okay, fine. I'll go to fucking do bridge. I'll go here. At least we're not gonna screw the user. We're not gonna kind of poorly manage his or her expectations. They're gonna bridge it and not gonna get their bridge for whatever reason. So we need to be very transparent and super honest about the state. And that's how we earn trust. Now, this table is also good for you guys. Start watching your fucking nodes. Because if your nodes are behind, whoever this guy is here, if your nodes are behind, nobody will be doing the bridging. Because we're taking the lowest applicable block height, convert that into time, and that's the time. Also this, if you guys want to be validators, and you cannot be validators, you're not going to be earning any fucking bridging fees for yourselves and for everybody else. Because if I see as a user 63%, I'm not going to bridge. I'm really not going to bridge. Now, this bar chart here is a reflection of the 62%. So we're going to, again, this is super not final version. This is version, I don't know, like it has been significantly upgraded already. And then we could upgrade it even further. So we're going to show it to you. It's going to be like top notch. Most likely it's going to be a pretty convoluted, complicated, yet very transparent dashboard. But this is, again, like showing 60% roughly. And as you can see, it's kind of, dropping. And then whenever somebody updates, it will increase. But it's not going to increase to 100%. It's going to be like increasing to about 66%, maybe 65. It's a shitty bridge right now. Not because the bridge is bad, because validators are shit. I'm not going to bridge as a user. So it's going to be a great reminder for you guys. Cannot run a bridge, can run on a node. Just become a nominator. Don't force yourself, right? Council members are more or less incentivized very much asked, maybe even forced to become validators. Okay, so for council members, you guys have to figure it out. Because otherwise, so far, the combination of these nodes is really, like, me as a user, I just don't want to bridge. Now, Casper 4.0, we had similar situation. We just didn't put those coefficients, those parameters to the user. So Scorpion, your bridge failed many times. Guess what? With these in mind, you would not be bridging. If you've seen these two things, like, meaning our stability of the nodes is better right now because we're able to disable faster. When you were bridging and your bridge didn't go through, this metric here was probably 30%, maybe 20%. It was total crap. You just didn't see it. And you bridged it blindly because we didn't give it to you. But now we're giving it to you. So you'll have a much more, kind of thoughtful process of making a decision to bridge or not. And it applies to everybody. My bridge got stuck a couple of times as well. So if I see this, I'm just not going to fucking bridge. Right? So, and then you will see why the slashing is so aggressive, because like even right now, like, come on, for fuck's sake, like 60% of stake is only active right now. It's a fucking disaster. And it's not because our protocol is bad or there are bugs. It's just these validators are crappy validators. So far, Mr. is asking, are there only 22 nodes who upgrade to 5.0? Yes, it seems like. The telemetry shows more, maybe 30 plus. Last time, we've been pushing everybody to upgrade fast, like please upgrade. And this time, I don't care anymore. I really don't give a shit. I'll tell you why. Those who want to upgrade to become validators, cool story. Please come. But if I'm forcing you, if I'm asking you to please update it, and then it's like you giving me a favor to run a node, and then it's like there are some errors and you cannot follow guides, you cannot find a technical guy, and it's like we have to like spend 24/7 of fucking support. It's just not worth it. Why? Because if you cannot run your nodes, it's right. Those who cannot run nodes properly will be only deteriorating this statistic. I want my stats to be good. I want to test shit. So my insight changed completely. I'm like, you know what? I'll be focusing on bringing more validators who are techie, because techie guys have no issues. Like Kalino in particular, he did like super for Dr. K upgraded fast. You guys upgraded fast too. You guys, some of you guys level 2s, you upgraded very fast. I'm not interested to really bring level 3s. I'm really not interested. I want the community to nurture them. I just don't have time to do it. I would love to. I don't have time. Do we need level 3s? Yes, we do. Do we need level 4s, the outsiders? Yes, we do. I don't have time, guys. Like, we really don't. And we weren't before, and I think it's becoming more and more busy as we are kind of accommodating everything. So, would be nice to bring those level 4s and level 3s, but they must be joining us as level 2s. So therefore, like, they in Wales level 3s, you guys, if as a group, as a community, need to educate them or not. But my realization was this. This bridge is so much more wholesome, is so much more transparent than this, or that. And the reason this bridge is not transparent is not because they don't have user experience, not because they don't have designers who can, put similar things. They don't have validators, guys. They don't have these validators. They don't have any of this stuff. We are the only project in Web3 who actually has this, like, something to show. Like, we actually have a network. This network of validators actually gets updated every single day, every single era. So we actually have this thing to show, and that's, I think, what we should be showing. So instead of oversimplifying it, I think we should be making it give all the transparent details that are important. Like, we should not overcomplicate it for, like, unnecessarily, but we should make it detailed enough for us to make decisions. So these are not the final rows. These rows are going to be changing as well. Lots of tooltips, lots of info is going to be here. Lots of if statements and stuff on the back end. This chart is going to be redrawn pretty fucking nicely. Trust me. We're probably going to have another panel on top. So not just 2 panels, but actually 3 panels. So it's going to turn properly into a dashboard. So we're spending the whole day today finishing it up because we have so many more ideas. Because I thought we finalized the design yesterday. And then yesterday night, we came up with more ideas, and I didn't pull all-nighter, but I woke up at, I don't know, 5 a.m., whatever. Like, in any case, like, we really worked. So we're going to keep working. We're going to present the best fucking dashboard for the user so you guys can make proper decisions. And as validators, make proper decisions about how to become good validators, because if you're not, you are messing up the stats. And if you are, you're really helping the bridge. So it's both, right? It's not like, oh, I should not be a validator. I don't think that's the message. The message is not, I want to start being a validator. Absolutely not. The goal is, if you are validators, please become better validators. Make sure you're tracing it better. Make sure you're more kind of like, right? We're going to be helping develop more tools as well for those who run multiple nodes. And you absolutely helping sustain the network. And trust me, guys, those validators will be the one making huge fucking buck. So lose now. Like, if you are one of those, no problem. Just fix yourself, right? Just fix your RPC, no problem. Because guess what? If it's difficult to run a node right now, it's going to be even more difficult on the mainnet. Not because RPC endpoints will be more difficult. I think RPC endpoints will potentially be easier to manage on the mainnet. But it's going to be real money. How many people have 7 Casper times $8,000? Which is 56 grand. For example, let's assume we raise the minimum to 7 Casper. How many people have $56,000? Right? If these are the prices. Okay, fine. Let's assume the Casper is $100. How many people have $1,000? Right? Free money. You think a lot. Like, to some of you guys, $1,000 is peanuts. For many people, $1,000 is a lot of fucking money. In emerging countries, it's a lot of fucking money. It's the cost of a laptop. How many people have it? Right? To then deposit it under the validator, right, that may be slashed. Right? It's crazy, right? It's absolutely insane. So test now, because whoever will be validators here, given adoption of Ghost, that's huge fucking money. like the money that you have not seen on, I wouldn't say that's a passive investment, like passive maintenance. It's definitely going to be more active than I thought personally, because again, we put in pretty draconian measures, and I got disabled twice already, just so you guys know. My node got disabled twice or 3 times in the last week alone. So, you know, my node is not delayed on the block height. I'm good. I'm also upgrading myself, but I'm disabled because my internet was, some local issues that I have to deal with, whatever. But I was disabled as well, so I need to figure it out. Again, the network doesn't care, but let's make it nice for the user, guys. Let's make it really fucking nice for the user. So, on this note, thank you so much. I hope to present to you more on this next week. Have a good weekend and be good for now. Bye bye.